Hey, I'm so sorry to tell you, but you've been muted this whole time.
I am so sorry. Thank you so much. Awesome. So we will get started now. My name is Allie. I am a volunteer through MOACAC. Excited to introduce our panels for our presentation here tonight. A few housekeeping items before I give it over to the presenters. Number one, you'll see on the bottom of your screen a Q&A button. This is for asking questions. Feel free to use this function to ask questions throughout the entire presentation, and our panelists will get to your questions at the very end as well. Also note that your camera and microphone are off because this is a Zoom webinar. And then also take a look on MOACAC's website to sign up for more information sessions, both panel sessions and individual institutions, to learn more about more universities and colleges and other post-high school opportunities through this great program that we have. Also note that this is being recorded, so you can always watch this again or pass it on to your counselor, your friends, or your family to get this information again. But with that, I will hand it over to our presenters.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to have you here. Just know that you can put your questions in the chat as we go along, and we're gonna save some time for those at the end. And I will just go ahead and introduce myself really quickly. My name is Kayla Sellers, and I work at Oklahoma State University. I actually am based in sunny Stillwater, Oklahoma.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Kaylee Sunding and I work for Kansas State University. I'm an admission representative out of the Kansas City area. Aaron, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself before I jump on in?
Sure. My name is Aaron Cook and I'm with the University of Missouri, or Mizzou in Columbia, Missouri. And I am also based in the Kansas City metro area as a regional representative.
Awesome. So what is a land-grant institution? Land-grant institutions actually came about in 1862 when President Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Act. So this is a law that gave states land to establish a college that would focus on the areas of agriculture, science, and engineering. Really, the goal of these institutions was to provide accessible education to everyone. So when it was signed in the 1860s, it opened up opportunities for thousands of farmers and workers to have higher education, which they never had access to before. So today, these institutions are still focused on making quality education accessible to everyone.
Then another form of a university or college we're going to not really address tonight, but is out there, is called a flagship institution. And typically around the country, when states have a land grant within that state, they would have a flagship institution that's separate most of the time. So it does depend from state to state, but this typically the university is going to have the highest research profile, the most doctoral programs. You're going to see programs like medicine and law on these campuses. Sometimes they are a campus that actually shares the land grant mission as well, but typically they are separate when you look at the different states around the country. To give some examples, you have the University of Michigan, Michigan State, University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, University of Arizona, Arizona State. In the state of Missouri, we're a little bit different. We are both the land grant and the flagship, where Missouri State does have that name. We do wear both hats in the state of Missouri. And then our friends to the west, we have the University of Kansas and Kansas State as well, that serve two different populations within the state.
So we are all considered the land grant institution, even though Mizzou shares a little bit with the flagship. And since we have a common founding, we also have a common mission, right? So since we tended to be founded on agriculture, science, engineering, we are also committed to principles of access and affordability. You're gonna hear that in everything that we do. The things that we do, really, we give back to our communities, and that's our local community, the towns that we live in, but also our states. So you're going to hear a lot about the ways in which we work together to help everybody out, which is a really fun mission and something I love being a part of. A couple of other things that you'll note about us is we all tend to be in traditional college towns, meaning that we have a very special relationship with the towns in which our colleges are located. So you might hear that term, the town and gown relationship. And then oddly enough, we all have programs in veterinary medicine. You are also going to hear that we can get you to lots of other places, but if you're looking at that full land grant institutions, then ours specifically are going to be some really good ones for you to look at. And with that, Kaylee is going to take it away with Kansas State.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you are wanting to be a K-State Wildcat, you are going to see that we have our new admission standards. So you're going to see those on the left-hand side of the screen. And like Kayla kind of mentioned before, we're all about offering accessible education. So with that, we have accessible admission standards. So to be automatically admitted to K-State, we need either 3.25 GPA, weighted or unweighted, or a 21 on the ACT or that equivalent. So we are technically test optional. So if you haven't taken your ACT test yet, as I know there have been some obstacles, that is just fine. You can still apply to K-State without that, and I would encourage you to do so. And you can just send us your test scores later, since we will use those for scholarships. If you don't meet those standards quite yet, that's also okay. We still accept students who don't meet those because we are focused on offering education to everyone. So you can go ahead and still apply on our website, or we're also available on the Common App as well. And then thinking about how is K-State affordable, how are we going to help you fund your education? We want to talk about scholarships. So we kind of have a couple of different rounds at K-State, I like to say. So the first round is going to be our general university scholarships and awards. So these are going to be based on your GPA, weighted or unweighted, and your ACT or SAT score. So you are automatically going to be considered for these scholarships when you apply to K-State. So the most important thing to know is you want to apply by December 1st, because that's our priority scholarship date. So you can make sure you're being fully considered for those scholarships. We are going to consider ACT, SAT scores through April 30th. So still go ahead and apply, just knowing you can submit those scores later on. We'll also super score this year, which is new, which we're really excited about as well. So that's going to be kind of our first round. You're automatically considered. There's no additional essays, applications, anything like that. Next is going to be our K-State Scholarship Network. So this is really going to be a portal where it will connect you to all the other miscellaneous scholarships at K-State. So these could be at the academic level, the academic department, just kind of those random, if you're a legacy at K-State, if you have a parent or grandparent that went there. And so filling out this application will be able to, if you meet one of the requirements, then we'll send it out to that specific scholarship for you. So it's just one application, and we'll send it out multiple places. And if we need more info, you can fill that out in our additional opportunity tab, where you'll see more scholarships that might need additional piece of information. So you have some time before this is due. You have until March 15th. So that's something you can check out now and continue to look at throughout the year. And then last but not least, you'll see our selective scholarships. So these are going to be competitive. This is going to be where you submit an application, go through an interview process. We have scholarships for things like civic leadership, public service, and then really just being an outstanding student all the way around. So those range from $2,000 to $80,000. And we have a hard deadline of December 1st at 5 p.m. for those. So kind of thinking about how you can get involved at K-State, one really awesome opportunity is our honors program. So this is a great way to just get the most of your undergraduate experience, and it'll help you towards whatever your future goals are. So you can participate in smaller classes, get connected to a professor in your area of study. And then there's also some fun perks too, like our free tickets to performing arts series or free printing, things like that. But you can apply anytime throughout your senior year once you're admitted to K-State, or once you get to K-State too. So we don't have a deadline or anything like that. But then one of my favorite statistics that we have on K-State is going to be on the right-hand side. So you'll see that we are the #1 public institution in the country for decades now for students receiving top scholarships that students compete for all across the country. When you throw in private schools, the Ivy Leagues, we are still consistently top 10. And what that really means is we have the quality education, we have the academics, we have the research opportunities, internships, all those things that you're looking for in a college. And of course, those top students get to utilize those too, but really everyone at the institution gets to utilize that. So that's always been one of my favorite statistics, just to show all the ways you can get involved through campus involvement, internships, research, and whatnot. And then that actually will be a good transition to our next slide here, talking more about research. So one thing that I know I did not realize when I was in high school is research is more than white coats and goggles. You can get involved in research in just about any of the programs at K-State. So whether that is journalism or music or biology, lots of opportunities. K-State's gonna have some more formalized programs that I listed here, which are good ways to just kind of dive right in, like with our Developing Scholars program in your first year, or my favorite is actually the last one listed, the Research for All. If you know you're interested, you want to conduct some sort of research, but just kind of want that general introduction and what that can look like, that's a really great program and is really popular. You'll also see the middle one listed as a little bit more targeted for students that are wanting to go on to graduate school. But there's lots of advantages to participating in research. Of course, it's a great learning opportunity. A lot of our students will actually get published as an undergraduate, which is really exciting to be in a journal, and then even present at national conferences as well. So there's scholarships that can come with this as well. And then there's opportunities outside these specific programs. So you can just email a professor and tell them that you're interested, and they'll help get you connected. So definitely recommend checking it out for anyone that's interested. But next, we're going to kind of go into some of the facilities that our students use with research, which now I realize you're seeing white coats because that's like the most popular picture of researchers. But we have the Johnson Cancer Research Center, and that has almost 100 laboratories across 20 different K-State departments. So really they're focused on kind of demystifying cancer. So trying to figure out how cancer starts, how it progresses, what are some methods for treatment. And so they work with undergraduates, graduate students, faculty members, pretty much people all across the university, which is really cool. A lot of my friends have gone to do research here. I actually know the person on the left, Adam. He's done some really neat things that I don't quite understand because I'm not medical minded. But lots of really opportunities if you are interested in the sciences, particularly cancer. They also work really well with like community. I know Kayla mentioned that, and that's kind of one thing that land-grant institutions do. So they do a lot of events, presentations to the public to just kind of inform people about cancer and then the research being done specifically at K-State. And next we'll talk about NBAF. So that's the National Bio and Agro-Defense Facility. This is something that we are very excited about, have been excited about for a long time, because it's going to be America's foremost animal disease research center. So it's actually being built by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and it's a $1.25 billion with a B facility that's biosafety level 4 laboratory. And if you're familiar at all, it's going to replace the Plum Island Animal Center for Disease. So it's been in the process of being built for a couple of years now. It's being built on the north side of campus, and it's going to be right next to the Biosecurity Research Institute. And so NBAF is going to work really closely with them, as well as our College of Veterinary Medicine. So it'll be fully operational by 2022 to 2023, and that's kind of a mock picture of it there that you'll see. All right, and then last but not least, what can you study at K-State? And so we have more than 250 majors and programs, which would be a lot to fit on one slide. So I kind of put our key areas there. We actually have the most in the Big 12 Conference, and a lot of them are going to be consistently ranked at the top of their field. One of the most popular majors for students from Missouri is the College of Architecture. We're consistently ranked top 10 in there. You'll see a picture of our newly renovated facility with Rainier Complex. This allows our students to have their own studio space, and we have our own fabrication lab where students can literally put their designs and make them appear in real life. So really excited to have that. Engineering is another popular one. We have 13 majors within engineering and 60 different tracks. And then we also prepare students really well for the health profession fields. We have a new program that we're starting with Wichita State, where they're actually going to have a satellite campus in Manhattan, and students will get a bachelor degree from K-State in health and human sciences, and then a Bachelor of Science in nursing from Wichita State, all while in Manhattan. So just know that there's lots of options. You don't have to have your mind made up quite yet, because I know I did not when I was a senior in high school, but you do know that you have lots of high quality options to choose from when you get here. And with that, I'll toss it to Aaron.
Thanks, Kaylee. Definitely some really cool stuff happening over in Manhattan, Kansas. So good job. I'm excited for you guys and your future years coming up. To talk about the University of Missouri very briefly. Again, you're going to hear a lot of commonalities between K-State, OSU, and Mizzou when it comes to admission requirements. So we do have 17 core classes requiring the 4 English, 4 math, 3 science, 3 social study, or excuse me, 3 social science, 2 foreign language, and 1 fine art. If a student's able to test and wants to submit a test score, if they have a 24 or higher or an 1160 or higher, they are going to be guaranteed admission as long as they're going to have academic standing with their high school. If they fall below that, we're going to look at the 2 charts on the right-hand side of the screen. You can see there's one for students that have a class rank and one for students that go to a non-ranking high school. So there's a correlation between the test score and the class rank. The higher the test score, the lower the class rank can be, and vice versa. Same thing with the core GPA. Higher the test score, lower the GPA, and vice versa as well. Again, just like K-State this year, we have created a new test optional track for those students that were not able to test or wanted to maybe enhance their test score and haven't had an opportunity. You're more than welcome to apply as a test optional student. What this means is we still need those 17 core classes on your transcript, but a student can submit a personal statement and a resume instead of that test score. We allow test scores to be received through June or July of your senior years. So if you do apply test optional and you want to maximize your scholarship opportunities, you're more than welcome to submit your test score anytime between now and June or July after being admitted to Mizzou even, and maximizing your scholarship opportunities by submitting that additional test score. But again, we are going along with K-State with a new test optional track for our students as well. 3 types of scholarships, much like K-State, so you're going to hear a lot of similarities when we're talking. We have automatic scholarships, again, that are awarded at the time of admission or shortly thereafter. Those are looking at specific criteria that you would meet on your application for admission. You're not applying for these, are automatically awarded to you. We have a second bin of scholarships called competitive scholarships. Those will show up on your status page once you are admitted, and they require separate application, typically some sort of interview, and they can stack on top of those automatic scholarships. The third bin of scholarships are general scholarships. Again, that is one application you're filling out before December 1st of your senior year, and you are going to be viewed for every single scholarship on campus you meet the criteria for. So those could be major specific scholarships or scholarships that are college or school wide, depending on what school you're going into, or specific scholarships like the St. Louis Alumni Association or the Kansas City Alumni Association chapters have scholarships as well. So you're not worried about which ones I'm applying for. Am I applying for the right ones? You're applying for them all, and we're sorting you in the applicant pools you meet the criteria for. We also have an honors college on campus. It was actually founded in 1958 as the nation's first honors college. Students are holistically reviewed here as well. So you're writing an essay, you're submitting a resume so that we can see some of the outstanding things you've done in high school as well. Again, you're gonna see community engagements. That's a very common thing with Lane Grants. And so we want students to be involved on our campus, but also in Columbia, Missouri, and also in mid-Missouri. So you are gonna see this common theme among Lane Grant schools that we want you to be involved in the community and be engaged throughout the community. Honors College does have an excellent Scholars and Fellows program. It's about 450 students every year. They are going to be working on undergraduate research and artistry and different things, again, on campus and off campus. There are 10 very different programs with varied search criteria. Again, you're applying for the Honors and Scholars program as a whole in the Honors College, and they are sorting you into those pools that you would make sense as far as your major and some of your background. Those can range from $1,500 scholarships for 1 year up to a 4-year full ride scholarship as well. And that application is December 1st. So we've converted all of our application deadlines to be December 1st to make it much easier for students to realize there's a deadline coming up. It's a big one. It's December 1st. Some of our program and facilities, we actually have a research reactor for research purposes on campus. Some really cool things happening in there. It's actually the largest university research reactor in the entire country at 10 gigawatts. Students from engineering to geology to agriculture will use the nuclear reactor. We actually, kind of as a fun fact, actually power 1 out of every 7 Toyota Priuses that you see on the road today. Within our nuclear reactor, undergraduate students can actually get security clearance to work inside this nuclear reactor in multiple majors across campus. Something being built, it's almost done, is our NextGen Precision Health. It's actually a really cool collaboration between our campus, UMSL's campus, UMKC, and S&T, along with MU Healthcare. It is going to be a one-stop shop for tackling the world's biggest challenges, cancer, COVID, all kinds of things going on within this building. We're going to have animal science and veterinary medicine. Professors are working with human health and engineering and business and journalism. So it's cross collaboration between our campus and then also the 3 other campuses in the state of Missouri that belong in the UN system. And again, MU Healthcare as well. So we're very excited to have this complex being built on our campus as we speak. Popular areas of study, business, engineering, health professions, journalism, and nursing are typically the top 5 as far as popularity go. They're not the only good 5, but they are the top 5 as far as popularity. Journalism of note is the world's first journalism school in 1908. There are 8 professional media outlets. So if you're interested in broadcast journalism, you will do 6.5 hours of live television every day, 365 days a year for KOMU, which is NBC affiliates. You will practice the Missouri method. So in all 42 disciplines of journalism, you're going to be doing hands-on learning freshman through senior year to figure out, is this the right discipline for you within journalism, or do you want to switch? We also have offices in Barcelona, Brussels, DC, and New York, so you can get some off-campus experience in the world of journalism. We are also home of a law school, medicine, and veterinary medicine programs as well. So those are typically popular attractants for our students that are coming for graduate school as well. At that, I'm going to turn it over to Oklahoma State University.
Hello again. Like I said before, my name is Kayla and I am located here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. In case you have no idea where that is, we're about an hour west of Tulsa and an hour north of Oklahoma City. So if you graph that line, you'll run into us. And we were founded in 1890 as an agriculture and engineering college. We used to be known as Oklahoma A&M. And since then, we've actually added a lot of programs. We have over 200 academic programs or majors. So pretty much anything you want to do, OSU can help you get there, but the first thing you have to do is be admitted. The way that you apply to OSU is through our website, so we're not on Common App, but if you'll go to admissions.okstate.edu, you'll be able to apply. I do want to note, like you've heard already, we are test optional for fall and spring 2021. So if you do not have a test score, or maybe you don't have a test score that you're totally in love with, go ahead and apply, send that score to us, and then we have a few different ways that we can admit you. The first one is comprehensive review. So if you're going to go through this process, be sure that you fill out the essays and leadership and involvement that you'll see as part of your application, because we will take a look at everything that you submit to us. And if we think that you'll be successful as a cowboy, then we're going to admit you to OSU. But we love a good benchmark. So the second way to be admitted to OSU is through our assured admissions criteria. So if you meet any one of these 3 criteria, you are assured admission to OSU. You just have to be sure to fill out that application. This is not a reason not to fill out those essays and that leadership and involvement resume, because those will be used for scholarship purposes, which is our next slide. So we have 3 different scholarship types at OSU, surprise, surprise. The first one is our University Assured Scholarships. So these are based solely on GPA and test score. For out-of-state students, this is known as the Out-of-State Achievement Scholarship. And what I can tell you is if you have a 3.0 unweighted high school GPA and at least a 24 ACT or 1160 SAT, I can assure you that you'll receive a scholarship from OSU, and that's going to go from $10,000 to $13,000. Partnered scholarships are going to be some things that you hear about, like national merit. This is going to be where an outside group sets criteria for an award, and then OSU will help to fulfill it. And then competitive scholarships are where that essay or those essays and that leadership and involvement resume really get to shine. So we're going to send your entire file out to the different committees across OSU that have scholarship dollars to give out. And if they're going to look at different things differently and weight them differently, right? So they're going to look at your GPA and they're going to look at your leadership, and some of them are going to weight those or feel like those are more important than some of the other pieces of your file. Do note two things. One, we are test optional admissions, but not test optional scholarships. So please do continue trying to test if you haven't been able to, and know that you can continue to update your test score with OSU until July next year. If you don't have a test score you're totally in love with, like I said. The second thing is that historically you might have heard us talk about a November 1st early opportunity scholarship deadline. There's a lot of anxiety going around with testing right now. So we have actually pushed that deadline to February 1st. So that's when we're gonna start awarding scholarships in December, but really the majority of our awards are gonna be reserved until after that February 1 deadline. So keep trying to take that test. I know it's no fun, but we want to give you money. So go ahead and work that out. Another thing that you're going to find on our application is going to be the application for our honors college at OSU. So we actually have the top rated honors program in Oklahoma, and we're one of the top 10 rated in the nation. This is because our curriculum for our honors college is actually remarkably flexible, and it's really designed to take you into broader subjects, deeper into the ones you're most interested in, and it's absolutely designed to be different. One example of that is that students are actually encouraged to earn credit towards their degree outside of the classroom space. So I see students get credit for honors for internships, for study abroad experiences. I've seen tour guides who have gotten credit for being tour guides. So we definitely want you to be a part of honors. Like I said, it's going to be an application as part of your application for admission. You're going to answer just a short question, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's usually a little bonkers. So last year's question was, if animals could talk, which would be the funniest and why? So it's just a short 50-word response to something similar to that. And then these are our admissions criteria. And you'll note that the first one is test optional. So if you've been unable to test, you can still apply and be admitted to our honors program. And then we also have a holistic review. So for example, if again, you don't love your test score, you can say that you want to be considered for admission to the honors college, and we're going to ask you for a couple of additional personal and academic statements. Our high achieving, high potential students also tend to be very interested in research, though we think that research is for everyone. So even if you're not an honors student, know you can get involved. These are 3 of the programs that we have starting with freshman year and moving forward. But really the way that most people get involved in research is by finding a professor that they like. And if they're in their class, then you go to class, you go to office hours, you do what you need to do to be in esteem with that professor, right? And then you ask them if you can join their lab. And because of the value that we hold for undergraduate research at OSU, if they have space, they're going to tell you yes. So we highly encourage students, even if it's outside of one of these programs, to get involved in research. I'm going to spend a little bit of time now talking about our programs and facilities. I'm going to tell you about four things that we have right now. Don't take my word for it. Definitely come to campus. We do have in-person visits happening right now. So you can sign up for those or register for those on our website. You can also see any safety regulations, like we are wearing masks on campus, that kind of a thing. But just know our website is the best place to go. It's a one-stop shop. So the first thing that I want to tell you about is the Endeavor Lab. This opened just a couple of years ago. It's associated with our College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology, or SEAT. And it is 100% dedicated to research being done by undergrads. So students who are part of that college can go into this building and do research on their own, really, if they want to. Last I checked, this is the only building of its kind in the US, especially because of its focus on undergraduate research, but because everything that we have in that building is a mirror of something that you would find at the master's or above level. So you can really go in there and kind of get your hands dirty with that hands-on learning. The next thing that I have is our hospitality and tourism management program. I like to think of it as a small but mighty program. It's not the biggest major on our campus, but it does have its own building, so it's kind of nice. It recently migrated over to the Sche School of Business. So our students in this program are getting all of the business essentials that they need to ensure that they're successful in the industry. Another thing that they're doing to prepare for that is they're running a restaurant on campus. It's pretty cool because they have a different culinary theme each week, so people can come in and eat. And then we also have our students run the wine and craft beer forums of Oklahoma. Those alternate years, but that is absolutely student run. So you can really, again, get your hands dirty in the field before you go out into the real world. Speaking of getting your hands dirty, we also have a brand new greenhouse learning center. There's some classroom space here. It's for Ferguson College of Agriculture students, and it's mostly going to be landscape architecture and horticulture. But one of my favorite things is that they actually have an entomology greenhouse within this building. It's far away from all of the other greenhouses because nobody wanted to be with the bugs. But it also kind of showcases our entomology program. And then last but not least is our McKnight Center for the Performing Arts. That is adjacent to our almost open Greenwood School of Music. So one thing that you're going to find if you come visit us is that we are investing in the arts and investing in music. We're adding new majors. We've got this brand new beautiful building. It's pretty incredible. Two of my favorite things about this building in particular. One, in both of the performance halls, so we've got a performance and a recital hall, we've got induction loop technology. What that does is that technology communicates with people who are wearing hearing aid devices and actually transmits the audio so they can enjoy the entire experience, which is pretty cool. And then the second thing is that we have an outdoor plaza that's absolutely 100% open to the public. There are no fences, nothing like that. And to bring things full circle, we broadcast performances so that you can go hang out in the plaza and enjoy the arts, even as a college student, if you don't want to pay for those tickets. So we are, even in the smallest of ways, giving back to the community, and whether that's in the research, the extension that we're doing, or the art performances that we're hosting. And with that, we are going to answer any questions that you guys may have.
All right, so if y'all have questions, you can just drop them if you click on the Q&A and then type them, and we are happy to answer. But to give you all time to type some questions, I'll start by asking a question myself. Kayla alluded to it, but you talked about being able to visit campus. Do y'all want to talk about your ways to connect, whether virtually or in person? Kayla, you can go first since you started, kind of.
I mentioned this a little bit. Yeah, so admissions.okstate.edu is 100% your one-stop shop for just about everything. We do have in-person visits that run Monday through Friday. On Friday, we have 2 options, but the rest of the days, we just have a morning tour that ends around 12:15, but you'll get to campus and it'll be beautiful. You can register for that. We've got a couple times a week, we've got a virtual tour, and you can register for that as well on our website. And then you'll see something that says, got questions? Ask your admissions counselor. And that is actually truly where I would suggest that you connect with somebody. So you can go, you find your state. Most of you are going to be talking to Caitlin Greider or myself. But if you've gotten a text from us that said, hey, this is Caitlin with OSU, that's a real human. It's not a robot. It's not something you should unsubscribe from. So just know that you can reach out to us, connect with us, and we would love to have you on campus.
Pretty much the same thing for Mizzou's campus. We are doing in-person visits. You can register for those online. Those look like an information session and then a campus tour with a current student. And then as far as virtual opportunities, we are doing a daily virtual presentation. If that's the first step for you, We are doing a virtual Q&A with our current students, so 6 to 8 current Tigers, talking about their experience, no agenda. You pop on and ask all the questions you want to get a student perspective. You can sign up for a virtual one-on-one visit with me or another admissions rep, as well as your major. And then we are also doing FaceTime campus tours. So maybe it's not convenient to come to campus, but you can actually sign up for a FaceTime campus tour, and a current student as a tour guide would basically go anywhere on campus you would want to see. So if you want to see the School of Journalism, Mizzou Arena, the vet hospital, you can see whatever you want to see. So they kind of are your personal tour guide virtually and go that way. We are doing Saturday visits as well. Be careful on the Saturday visits. We are obviously avoiding SAT and SAT dates, and we're also avoiding home football games because we are having fans in the stands. And so that kind of maxes out the capacity for our campus on that day. So we're avoiding home football games and test dates. But again, please meet us in person or virtually any way you can. We want to make sure that this is a right fit for you. Kaylee, what is K-State doing?
Yeah, great question. So pretty much same thing. So we have some virtual options. We have some in-person options. In-person campus visits, we're doing morning or afternoon, and they are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you can register online for those, k-state.edu/visit. That's also the website. You can find our virtual options on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can meet the academic areas, do a campus tour, and a couple of different things there. We also have, like the others too, where you can meet your admission rep one-on-one over Zoom. You'll be able to find all of that at k-state.edu/visit. So good combination of things. And then Aaron, we had a question for you. Oh, did you already answer it?
No, I haven't answered yet. Chloe, I did see your question about the NextGen Precision Center. It is opening October 19th, 2021. I know it's a very specific date, but why that is a specific date? That's actually homecoming of 2021. And we typically do big openings around homecoming. If you're not familiar, there is some discrepancy on who invented homecoming, who has the biggest homecoming. Mizzou loves our homecoming. I'll just stop there from that, but that is our homecoming weekend of 2021. So that is the target date for the NextGen Precision. So freshmen next year will have opportunities to be within that facility on our campus.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that, Aaron. Next, I just want to ask kind of what attracted you both to Oklahoma State and Mizzou, and what your favorite thing about it is. And just a reminder, don't forget you all can ask questions in the Q&A. We still have about 7 minutes left.
I will answer that first. And I will say that's honestly changed for me over the years. When I was a high school senior and visited campus, it was honestly the beauty of campus. Like when I stepped out of the car, got out of the parking garage and saw campus for the first time, it just struck me, and like I felt it in my tummy that it was a really beautiful place. It is a registered botanical garden, so it is a very green space campus. And that may be a superficial reason why I liked it, but that's how I was when I was a high school senior. It was just a pretty campus, and I could see myself physically being happy there. Now, 16 years working at Mizzou, I can definitely tell you that what I love about working for Mizzou and watching young people grow as humans is how they transform on our campus. They come as a student to get a degree, but they grow as humans through different student organizations, through study abroad experiences, through volunteer experiences. And I just think a land-grant institution, and this is where it's so weird that I love being passionate about land-grant institutions, because they service the state. Like they're literally there for the citizens. So you can come from any corner of Missouri or out of the state of Missouri, and there's something for you on our campus. Is it the most important thing to you? Maybe not, but I can tell you that Mizzou has something for every student on our campus, and you just have to figure out what your priorities are and if that's the most important thing to you or not. So I absolutely love how students can now come to campus and they actually get to grow as a student and as a human and really explore new things they may have never thought about exploring before they got on our campus.
I'll go. So I came to OSU a little bit later in life. This is not my alma mater, but when I was looking for jobs in higher education, I was very purposeful about who I applied to and where I wanted to work, because I was looking for a very specific community. And so my favorite thing coming to OSU has been, you'll hear us talk about it all the time, is the cowboy family. So even though I am not a cowboy by degree, I am a cowboy now. And I've been welcomed into the cowboy family like I was one of their own. It was one of the things that really had me apply to OSU and that I wanted to work for an institution like OSU is that it was remarkably easy to find the diversity statement on our website. And I wanted to go to a place where everybody was welcome and where everybody felt like family and who was very open and upfront about it. So that is, in short, my favorite thing about OSU. That's one of the things that I think we hear most often, even on campus tours when people have never been to Stillwater before, is that they leave feeling like family. And at the end of the day, that's what we want for students, whether they choose to be a cowboy or not. We want them to go somewhere where they feel like they are family the second that they step onto campus. And that was true for me with OSU.
Love it. Yeah, the number one thing is you have to visit all the colleges you're considering so you can really just get a feel of what's best for you. Because kind of like Aaron said, he had that feeling in his tummy, like you just kind of get that with what just feels right. For me, I graduated from K-State back in December 2016. And when I was in high school, I went to a really small school. I had 24 kids in my graduating class. So I was looking for a school where I still felt comfortable. I wanted all those opportunities, but I just didn't want to be another face in the crowd. I still really wanted to get involved, even at a big school. And when I visited campus, everyone was so friendly and so nice. And it was just kind of like that welcoming atmosphere. I remember I was a very undecided senior, so I met with like 3 different majors that day and about like everybody that I could, and everyone was so friendly, from faculty members to students, and I could just tell, like, even though I didn't know what I wanted to study yet, I knew that the professors and people there were going to help me get wherever I decided to go. People were willing to bend over backwards to make sure like you had good experiences there and you got connected where you wanted to, and definitely clearly loved it. Still here working as a mission representative in my 5th year now. So yeah, definitely would love for you to visit K-State, visit everywhere you're considering, just to kind of figure out what feels best for you.
One quick question for you two. In this weird year that we're getting ready to go into, how do we help high school students embrace this college church? Like, what should they do in a year that looks like no other year to really embrace this college church process that we all love helping students through?
I mean, honestly, I think it's things like this, right? In this year, unlike any other year, you're going to see everything virtual. You get to explore more options for what institution you want to attend. You get to hear from people like us who are really passionate about their institutions and what they do. But there's so much more opportunity this year to do something like that and to maybe consider something you never would have considered before.
Yeah, I do think virtual options have really opened doors and made it a lot easier to visit from a distance too. So I would say, of course, do your initial online research, that everybody does, but don't be afraid to send an email. And if you don't see where the school has a one-on-one meeting, ask for it. Or if you want to meet with a certain area on campus, email your admission representative. Just don't be shy, because we're happy to help connect you to those opportunities.
Yeah, I would just echo that and say this year, along with all of the years, there are no bad questions, but especially this year, don't go at this alone. We are here for you. It's not you versus K-State or you versus Oklahoma State or you versus Mizzou. We're in this together. So we want to make sure that you're a good fit for our campus and that we're a good fit for you. So whatever we can do, don't hesitate to meet us virtually, in person. We really want to make sure this is a good fit for you.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we did perfect on timing. Yay.
Perfect. And with that, I made sure I'm unmuted to wrap up our session here today. Thank you so much, Kayla, Aaron, and Kaylee, for this very informative, awesome presentation. This not only makes me feel excited about your campuses, but also hopefully you students in the room are feeling comforted knowing that everyone here tonight is an advocate for you in this process. So a few reminders as we close out the night. Number one, when you close this window, a quick survey will pop up, just 4 questions. It'd be great to have you fill that out to let us know what you thought. Also, this is just one of many sessions offered over the next few weeks, so feel free to hop on to moacac.org to sign up for more sessions. And also note that within about a week, this session will be posted online at moacac.org, so you can review it later as well. But thank you everyone for attending tonight. This has been wonderful, and hope you all take care. Thank you so much.